Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name's John McDonald, and today we're going to make a really super simple, easy spring arrangement. Now, the inspiration for this was really these beautiful little tête-à-têtes. Now, these are available now, and you'll see them in supermarkets and florists. You'll see them all over the place. They're a really good thing to buy. A, because they give you a pop of colour, they're really cheery, and they'll brighten up your home. They make an ideal gift as well, but also once they've finished flowering, you can take the flowers off and you can plant these out into the garden. So just in a nice little corner or under some bushes, somewhere where they're just going to create a little highlight, and they'll come up year after year. So for all they might not last a long time in a warm house, then you're still going to be able to use them because you can put them in the garden. So that said, if you do have a very warm house, they aren't going to last a long time. So if you have a cooler area, you'll get more life out of them at home. So these are very pretty in themselves. You can gift wrap them, you can put a couple of them together in a little bag. Quite nice little gift, but it's quite nice to use them to make more of a design or more of an arrangement. So what I've got is I've bought 3 of these. I'm going to take out the labels because we don't need that. That just distracts your eye. And I'm going to use this glass dish. Now, this was actually a dish that came from IKEA, and you can buy them as a set of 3, which was quite a good deal. And so this was, or a set of 2, I think it was. So that was one of the other ones as well. So just a good sort of a container just to have for both of them actually. And this is a little bit ugly. Now, what I tend to do is when I'm using something like this, I want it to feel really springy. I would add twigs and I would add moss and I would try and keep it quite natural. This container immediately makes it different. So let's do one that's not mossy and springy, but let's do one that's a little bit, maybe a little bit more modern, a little bit more special. So I've got these shells, and these were one of these things that I saw at the wholesalers, thought I've got to have, bought them, have never used them, or have only used them once or twice. And I'm thinking this is quite a good way maybe just to hide the pots. I quite like having things like this because when you have them, you've got them to keep and you can reuse them. So maybe if you're entering a competition or wanting to make something a little bit different, then you can use something like that. So I think that gives quite a nice sort of a touch. And I really don't want them to come up the way as such. Just really to hide the pots, create a little bit of texture in there. And yeah, just be a little bit more interesting. So definitely we want to hide those pots. Now, that's kind of better than it was, but what I would like to use is these glass crystals. So they're like a glass ice cube, and we're just going to pop them in. Now, I'm just going to be a little bit careful putting them in because you could potentially break your dish. So once the first ones are in, then that is going to work great. So I think at this time of year, you know, we've had Christmas, we've got rid of decorations, the house is looking a bit empty. This is a great time of year for plants. And if you can bring in like a little seasonal plant like this, it's also a great way to bring some colour into the house. I'm just going to work my way around and add these. So I think that's maybe the thing. We see little plants and we just think of them as individual plants, but actually they have the potential to be made into something more. Now you probably actually have different pots and things kicking around, so it's just a case of seeing what you've got, see what would work. in combination. So if you do have a lot of moss, a lot of twigs, then go for that natural look. But this was just an interesting idea, just to do something that maybe got away from that. And of course, with all things, you can personalize it to your taste. Yeah, I think this is quite cute. I don't really want to fill this right up, because if I do that, I'm going to actually hide our lovely shells, and that would be a bit of a shame. What I do have is I've got a couple of little bunnies, and this is the type of thing that you can then now decorate more if you want. So what we could do if we wanted is just add a little bunny just as a little highlight, and if this is going to go on a low table, then we can add another little bunny into the middle. These were quite cute because they had little closed pegs. But it is possible that you could add even things like a little Easter egg. I know it's not Easter as such, but when we think of spring, we think of different decor things. So whatever your decor preference would be, you could put that into an item like this. So I'm not going to bother about adding any more. With the little narcissus, then if you keep them on the dry side, they're going to last longer. The minute you actually give them a good drink, they will develop quicker and they will come into full flower. So if you have them and they're very tight and you want them to come on quicker, give them a good water and that'll bring them on. If you're wanting to hold them back, then don't give them a water, keep them somewhere cooler, and that'll hold them back. But the little daffodils give such a nice arrangement that is just a breath of fresh air and a little bit of spring cheer. Now, if you found today's video interesting, if you feel a little bit inspired and you want a little bit more inspiration, then why not check out the video link that's in our description for this video, and that's for a planted spring design. So that brings together a range of different spring plants and create a more mixed one, whereas this is just one type of material. A mixed arrangement as well is also really interesting. Now, we have new videos every week. We'd love you to join us for a little bit of inspiration. If you haven't already subscribed or liked the video, then please do so. It really helps us with the channel. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. We hope you join us for our next design.